It may not seem like it, but the NFL offseason's kind of over. I mean, I know it's a 12-month, 365 days a year league now, but there's really nothing tangible outside of a couple free agents that may sign. There's really nothing tangible that's going to happen between now and training camp, right? The draft, free agency, mini camps, the rookie mini camps, the OTAs, like all of this stuff has kind of been wrapped up. Players get a little over a month to go, get familiar with their families and hit a vacation or two, and then they're back and they go into the submarine that is the season. So, A, start getting excited because it's darn near football season. But B, how'd the Panthers do? Right? With everything tangible happening, how did they do? And more importantly, are the talking points that have come out of the Panthers facility, are they overreactions, underreactions? Or I guess we could throw a properly reactions out there as well. We're gonna play that game on a Friday. I asked Dennis to come up with the talking points, the reactions that we've heard most from the Panthers kind of situation, and we'll decide whether they are overreactions, underreactions, or if they're just the correct reactions.
Okay, let's go right into the wide receiver group. Jalen Coker might not make the 53-man roster. Overreaction or underreaction?
I think that he might not. I think that's an overreaction. I think he's going to make the team.
He should.
I think it's the messed up part is that the conversation does have to happen, just because of investment, right? Actually, I don't even want to say that. They have a good problem, which is they trust probably 6 or 7 guys, and there's probably only 6 spots. So probably, Hunter Renfrow is a great problem to have in that you took a absolute no-risk chance on a guy who might be something. If he turns into something, then you have the problem where you're going to have to cut somebody you weren't planning on cutting. I don't think Coker ends up being that guy. I think he showed enough as a young player last year with really no help that you want to see what he does this year. That's the part about Coker that I want to emphasize. The coaches have to be excited with when you're an undrafted rookie free agent, you're low man on the totem pole, right? You are not anything you get, you're getting on your own, right? You're staying after to get catches. You're not the one getting all of the one-on-one attention, and he was still pretty good. So if you treat him like an active roster guy for an entire training camp and for the first part of the season, right? He only played 11 games last year, only started 4, and still had almost 500 yards. So there is that curiosity of what could this guy be like if we actually make him part of the plan, rather than what can he be when we're working with the guys who are part of the plan and he's just eavesdropping and trying to apply it to himself as best he could. So I think he makes the roster. I think it's messed up that he's going to have to sweat out making the roster, but I think he's going to have to sweat out making the roster. Like, anyone that's watched HBO Hard Knocks, the Grim Reaper day when people are going around knocking on doors, right? Grab your playbook, coach wants to see you. Only now it's grab your iPad, coach wants to see you. He's definitely going to have his headphones on going I don't hear the knock. He's going to be sweating out that day, but I think he makes it.
All right, next one here. The Carolina Panthers have a 10-sack player on their roster this year. Overreaction or underreaction?
They have a 10-sack player?
Yeah. A double-digit sack player on their roster this year.
That's probably an overreaction. Mm-hmm. It's 10 sacks to me is kind of like 1,000 receiving yards or 4,000 passing yards. Something that, because the all-time greats do it year and year and year and year, we think it's easier than it is. Or something like 35 home runs in baseball, right?
Like 1,000 rushing yards.
Yeah, it's like, no, actually, that's tough to do. So you have a rookie, I almost don't even want to have this conversation, because if Princely Umanmielen, their third-round rookie, if he has 7.5, I want to make sure we're throwing a parade. I want to make sure
that'd be great.
I want to make sure we're excited and not, this team doesn't have a 10-sack guy. It's like, well, give him a couple years, right? I think, with a little bit more time, yeah, he could be that, and with a little bit more centering as far as playing time. If Nick Scorton has 8, I want to be throwing a parade. I I mean, I don't even know who the best. One of the rookies could, but you never want to, high ceiling, low floor guys. Is Pat Jones? Is he a 10 sack guy? I don't know. Is Turk Wharton? What did he have? 8.5 last year for the Chiefs. But the Chiefs had the fourth best defense in the league, and they had Chris Jones, and they had a little bit more of an accomplished pass rush around him. And also, they were the Chiefs, so they were in the games where the Chiefs were ahead or they were close, and the other team had to pass. Just to get to 10 sacks, you probably need to be ahead in a bunch of games, which would be a whole other good piece of news for the Carolina Panthers. If there's enough pass rushing downs, that means you're getting to third down with a lead, right? Like those are things that are outside of the pass rusher's control. So, I don't think they have a 10-sack guy, but I do think that the pass rush is better this year. And actually, I don't know why I focus so much on the rookies. If Derek Brown has 6.5, I want to throw a parade.
That'd be awesome.
I want to throw a parade. So I don't want to set like 10 as a threshold because A, it's really hard, and B, I think significantly less is awesome for some of these guys. So, no, I don't think they have a 10-sack guy.
Okay.
I hope they do.
I would love if they had that. All right, next one here. Overreaction or underreaction that the Carolina Panthers will push for a division title this season.
Okay, what does push for a division title mean?
I would say be in contention the last 2 weeks of the season. Like they're okay, mathematically within it. Let's say in the month of December, they have a mathematical chance. Is that an overreaction or an underreaction? Again, mathematical chance.
They will, I think, is an overreaction. They could. And the other thing that we need to point out here is the way their schedule is set up. I feel like Kevin Hart stand-up, like the way my bank account's set up, it takes 3 to 5 business days if we go from savings to checking. The way their schedule is set up, they have 3 division games in the last 4 games of the year.
Yeah.
They have a week 14 bye, which is late.
Real late.
And then they have 4 games, 3 of which are divisional games back like that last month of the season. So to be mathematically eligible, there's still a lot of division games to be played. I think it's possible they are, but I'm not ready. Like they will I think their floor is still pretty darn low, which is like rightfully so. They're picking in the top 10 this year, right? And they're still playing a quarterback that is, while showing a lot of signs of life, is definitely far from a sure thing. So I'd say the floor is still low. Saying they will be contending for a division is probably an overreaction. Possibly if things break their way, they could be. I'd be okay with that, but that's not a very that's pretty lukewarm of a prediction to be like, well, possibly if this goes well and the other team struggles and Michael Penix has a few growing pains, then maybe, and Baker Mayfield's gonna have to take a step back. But also the way the schedule works out, you finish on a heater, you might catch some people from behind.
All right, final one here. Overreaction or underreaction? Bryce Young will throw for 3,500 yards this season. Overreaction or underreaction?
I think that's a good number. I'll give you credit on that. What is 35? Let me do a quick bit of math. 35 divided by 17. So we're
about
looking
200 and change.
Yeah, 206 yards a game if he plays every game.
Assuming.
Which, I mean,
well, if he gets benched, that's a different conversation.
Yeah, I mean, he should. If he plays in every game, barring injury, 225 is not asking too much.
No.
Especially with the addition of Teteroa McMillan. And I would say they need to have more pass catching out of the backfield this year than they've had in the past. That's when Dave Canales' offense is working best. There's a lot of creative touches for everybody, and those are a lot of, I call them free passing yards, right? You throw it 2 yards, you get 10 yards of passing. That's significant. So yes, that's not an overreaction. Going over 3,500 yards is not an overreaction, barring injury, right? It's if you get hurt, it becomes really, really difficult. But there's the reason why I always bring up 4,000 yards passing is the threshold. One of the crazier stats ever. Do you know the Chicago Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer?
Really?
Ever. Jay Cutler was there for 6, 7, 8 years. Not once.
Interesting.
And Cutler was obviously throwing. There were seasons where he was throwing for more than 206 yards a game, but it was an availability thing, right? Josh McCown would go in there and start 7 games because Cutler got hurt, or he'd have the knee thing or whatever he had going on. And then, Trubisky never did it. We can go on and on. Orton never did it. Rex Grossman never did it. So it's one of those things that it feels like, you hear 206 yards per game gets you to 35. So what's 4,000? Like, 225, 230, 240, something like that. Like, that's not that many yards. It's just hard to do that and stay healthy over all 17 games. Used to be 16, obviously. So it's not an exaggeration. It's not an overreaction to say 3,500, but I do think that's a good number. Like, I think there's chances it goes under that as well.
So players that were over 3,500 yards last year, Kirk Cousins, who didn't even play the last few games of the season. Caleb Williams last year was over 3,500. Jaden Daniels, C.J. Stroud, Josh Allen, Matt Stafford, Bo Nix, Kyler Murray. Now you start getting other guys, like the Justin Herberts, Lamar Jacksons, and those kinds of guys. Sam Darnold. Geno Smith threw for over 4,300 yards last season. And I'm saying that the number one overall pick from 2 years ago should be able to get over 3,500 yards.
If Bryce Young plays like those guys you mentioned, excited. Excited. Jaden Daniels was one of the best rookies we've seen. Caleb Williams, maybe that was probably more about just volume. He played every game and threw a lot, but he took a lot of sacks as well. But yes, I agree that when you draft someone first overall, you don't expect to be 2 years later going, overreaction, he could throw for 3,500 yards. But you have to take into account the last 2 years, right? It hasn't been pretty.